following podcast contains adult themes, sexual content, and adult language. But would you rather have it any other way?
Alright, new week, new question, new panel. Welcome to the Would Rather podcast, where we tackle the hardest, most offensive and outrageous would you rather questions ever imagined. Today's question is, would you rather die in a fire or die by drowning? I'm your host Meng, and today on the bants panel we have certified grade A slut, Aaron Chu. How are you?
That's yeah, right, I'll take that.
Thanks for coming today.
No problem.
And also on the panel today we have an ex-contender for Miss Universe, but she decided that education is more important and decided to go to uni. Helen Lee, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good. Tfollowing Matilda, books before looks. Remember that?
Which universe was this in, by the way?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, so thanks for joining us today, guys. So burning to death or drowning? Thoughts?
Drowning.
Yeah, like I'm pretty vain, so I wouldn't want to get burnt. Like it would be painful because you can feel it. Because I think if you drown to death, right, like I think it's just going to be a lot quicker. Because if you burn to death, it's not the burns that kill you, it's the suffocating, isn't it? And it's just the shock of it all.
I know, I'm pretty sure if I put your head in like an oxygen mask and burnt the rest of your body, you would die from the burning, not the suffocation. I think it's actual like the...
But that would take a lot longer, wouldn't it, than just suffocating to death?
Yeah,
if
true.
you think about it.
Wait, don't you suffocate when you drown? Is that the whole
Yeah,
thing?
but that's like quicker, isn't it? And then don't you kind of black out for a little bit as well?
Yeah. I think
so like, I'm going for which one's quicker and which one's more convenient.
Yeah, because like...
That's weird, because I always thought that you would die quicker if you burn.
Nah, man, it looks really, really painful.
Yeah, I think if you take in a real life situation of burning, you never like... It's not like when you're cooking something, you don't put something straight into the fire. It's usually you're in the house and you slowly kind of engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
Whereas drowning, you just, drown in water because that's how you drown, right? And also the fact that like, because we've all cooked and stuff before. I don't know about Helen, but like, normal people when they cook and stuff, you burn yourself and you know the feeling of what burn feels like. You know what sunburn feels like.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what drowning feels like. So, you don't
know what drowning feels like?
I know what, I can't swim. I know what drowning feels like.
No, but like we haven't gone to the point where you actually kind of, you're flailing and stuff and you're swallowing water, but you haven't actually drowned. You understand? You're in the process of drowning, but you haven't drowned.
I've been in the process.
But we've been burnt before, but like not to death.
Yeah.
So you know the feeling of being burnt. You're like, oh shit, that fucking hurts. But then the feeling of drowning, it's like you haven't actually drowned yet, but you've gone through the process, so it doesn't hurt as much. Would that make any sense?
Wait.
Yeah, so your body goes in shock, doesn't it?
I know. Just last time the one time I nearly drowned was when I was like probably like 4 or 5, and it was like in the Burswood pools, now Crown pools. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. I was like swimming, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, I can't swim. Then one of my mates at the time dived in and tried to save me. And he was like, yeah, I've done this course before, I'll try and save you. Grabbed onto me, and I fucking grabbed onto him and pushed his head down, and we both started drowning. And someone else had to come help us. So like that's the closest I've come to drowning. And I've burnt myself before, and like just by hot pan. And I'd rather like that drowning experience than like the feeling of like burnt skin. And plus also the fact that you probably can smell yourself cooking.
Yeah, that's scary.
Is that not a pleasant smell?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine like it would be, but then you will be like, oh shit, that's me. Like, it's like when you fart and it stinks, and you're just like, oh man, that's my own fart, and you're like, oh fuck, actually it really stinks. It's like realization that like shit, like I'm dying and I'm getting burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine anything worse
than burn. Yeah. But I think it's with like when you're drowning, then it's just kind of, it's just your respiratory system that's suffering. But when you're burning, it's going to be your respiratory system. It's your whole entire body. Like your skin, every bit of your skin is getting burnt. How painful would that be if every part of your body is getting burnt? Like I get a little sunburn. I'm like, fucking aloe vera. Like I don't think I'll be able to, I'll probably just sit there and just cry and let myself burn up. Like, oh my God, it's so painful. My skin, I'm going to scar.
That's true. Because like when you drown, like you're nothing like nerve wise, like you're not going to feel that your skin or anything. It's more so like your brain and probably your lungs filled with water, right? Whereas you're burning, it's like everything. Your lungs will be full of smoke. Your eyes will be like watering. Your skin will be like crispy.
Yeah.
Kind of hungry, right? Like it's just not.
It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
Okay, what about? Because I was thinking about the element of panic, right? So
fight or flight.
yeah, so if you were to compare the two situations, and you were stuck in a fire and you were burning, there's like an insane amount of panic there, right? Because like you said, if you've just ever been burnt slightly before, you know that pain, and you'll start to freak out. I'm pretty sure like during that whole period that you're burning, you would just be panicking, and the level of intensity would be like super high during that whole time. Whereas I feel like with drowning, it's a lot less, there's a lot less panic involved, because you're kind of panicking when you realize, oh shit, maybe I'm drowning, but then after a while you come to an acceptance.
What's the scenario?
There's no pain.
What's the scenario that we are burning in? Like, is it we're in a house fire, or like someone literally douses some petrol and like lit us on fire?
Or does it make a difference?
Yeah, it does.
If you're in a house fire,
you still feel like you can escape.
There's still a chance of like living.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Whereas you're like, someone doused you in petrol and like lit you on fire,
you know you're going to die.
And then the process of drowning, you're like, with the drowning, you're dead anyway, because you're drowning. Like, you wouldn't be in that situation. It's not like you're swimming and then all of a sudden the wave crashes out and then you drown. It's you're drowning. As opposed to a house fire, it's like, all right, I'm not completely dead yet, but I can still like...
All right, there's an element of hope. Okay, so what if we remove the element of hope?
You remove the element.
Yeah, so someone's doused you and...
Oh, that's fine.
That's still bad, but like I think with when you're talking about the panic mode, when it comes to fight or flight, I think it would be worse actually if you're drowning, because then when your esophagus closes up, it's like in jiu-jitsu or anything like that. When you're getting choked out, your body instantly goes into panic mode, and it's
technical.
Just. Do you get choked out quite often? Like,
No, I don't. No.
Do you enjoy being choked out?
No, like because I was actually contemplating doing jiu-jitsu sometime this year, because don't laugh.
Did you say you're going to contemplate getting choked this year?
No, because,
right?
and then someone was teaching me about it, like because I just think it's good for self-defense. Like I think all women should know how to choke someone out. Like
if some women get paid a lot of money for that too.
Don't use it for monetary purposes. Maybe do it for self-defense. Or unless it's your thing. If it's your thing, like
they're opening up a gym. Have you seen that on Facebook? They're opening up like a fetish gym for guys that like to be like
choked
wrestled
out
and choked out and stuff.
Can you give me the number up?
Yeah, it looks really fun. Like,
so I think when that actually happens, when your esophagus just your body just goes into panic mode, you don't know what to do, so you can't think straight or anything like that. But I don't know, like if you get doused in petrol, I don't think you're going to get to that fight or flight mode.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think you're going to get to that.
Drop, stop and roll?
But like
still fucked.
You already know you're fucked, right? But like even when you're drowning in the middle of the ocean, like I think even if you take out the element of hope, there's still that little one aspect of hope that you think that maybe you can kind of swim up or something like that. So your panic mode is just...
That's true, yeah. Because
your
water you never see as like an element of hurt.
Yeah,
because we
exactly.
drink water, we swim, we go to the beach and stuff, especially in Australia. Whereas fire, I think with any kind of culture... Unless, what's the culture that walks on like fire and shit? Besides that one,
Daenerys, Game of Thrones.
Targaryen. Unless you're a Targaryen, like fire has always been like something you're like, don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that being said, like like when you're drowning, it's you imagine like not that like, many of us have drowned before, but you imagine it be a peaceful process, whereas fire is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that monk, what's that monk from like World War or like from ages ago, like who burned himself alive?
Oh yeah.
And just sit completely still and just die, like I'm pretty sure he wanted to say fuck this fucking hell, like against his religion or some shit, right? And he just like sat there and just like took it like Jesus, man, like that's insane, like fortitude right there.
Yeah, but like I was watching a documentary, as I do, as Meng would know. I watch a lot of documentaries and read a lot. There's actually like a little small place in Asia where a lot of monks, they actually don't feel the heat of fire anymore.
Because they train themselves, right?
Yeah, they've trained themselves, so that's interesting. That was off topic, actually. Never mind.
No, that's relevant.
It's like you could have brought a monk in today, and it could have been like, I'd rather burn to death than drown in water.
Yeah, because I don't think they would feel it. Like the only thing that will get to them is actually suffocating from the smoke, because they will put their hand, like it's like those chefs and stuff in Japan where they can just put their hands into 100-degree.
Oh yeah.
Like
that
people, and they would just grab it out because they've trained themselves to do it. So
that's my dad, because my dad's been like a chef. Oh, he's retired now for ages.
Yeah,
and he like to test the wok and shit. He literally puts his palm into the wok. And like touches it, and he's like, "Yep, it's good." And I just like put like not even touching. I was like, "Fuck, that's hot." Like,
What does he leave his hand there, or
he just he just does this.
And he's like, 5 seconds.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, it's good." And I touch. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah. That's why I don't want to get burnt, because I've done that so many times.
Yeah, so maybe it's just like a subjective thing as well, but yeah.
But yeah, for me personally, drowning.
Yeah,
'Cause,
drowning. And then I think what it is as well is like it's probably a psychosomatic thing. It's something that we think of subconsciously in our head because burning to death was a form of punishment. Like look at Salem and stuff like that. When people did something wrong, that was a means. Yeah, so it's like in our heads, it's almost like a means of punishment. So maybe we've been created in a way that like doing something like that is, it's a form of punishment, so you already have negative connotations to it.
Yeah, there's actually no there is water torture and stuff, but besides that, there's no real evidence in history. No, I could be wrong. That drowning was used as a form of real punishment. It's always been death by fire on the stake or death by fire.
No, wait, no. What about there has to have been where they would tie
No, man, that's when people want to kill people and not get their bodies found.
But wasn't a form of corporal punishment? I don't think.
Was it? I don't think so.
Didn't Houdini die by drowning or some shit? He the magician Houdini.
Oh,
he chained himself and then he tried to unchain himself and then he just sunk and died.
That sucks. Poor thing.
Oh no, because I think you're right. In history, Australia, there's no. Everyone's always been what's her name? Joan of Arc was burnt at the stake. They said witches used to be burnt at the stake.
Yeah, in Salem.
To destroy towns and city, they don't flood them. They burn them.
Yeah.
So the whole connotation, like you said, with fire is bad and water was always the solution to fire. Just going a bit deep, sorry. The solution to fire. So that's probably why me and Helen would choose
just drown. Yeah.
Because getting burnt to death is
it's just you look at it and you're ready to shiver. You're just nah, man, that's not cool.
Because you always see movies and shit where people are burnt and the corpses are just black. And at least when they're drowned, they're still you can still see body and stuff.
You're still it's almost like you're still human, but once you get burnt, you're disintegrated. You're dust.
Okay, sure. What about in terms of posthumous, right? So post death, the factor of whether or not you're found. So does that make a difference? So if you get burnt alive and they're able to recover your bones and stuff and do whatever it is that they do, cremate you or whatever, but the other option of getting drowned, there's a chance they won't find your body. Does that make a difference?
I'm ready.
You don't care. You don't care?
You know what, right? When people find the body, so when someone gets burnt alive, as opposed to say someone drowning, the reaction towards someone being burnt alive is so much more sadder than someone that's been drowned. So when someone gets burnt alive, everyone's just poor thing.
Yeah.
And, they have a lot of sympathy. And then when someone gets drowned, it's sad, but it's not you don't feel as disgusted as an act of burning someone alive. That act itself is so inhumane. As, both of them are inhumane, but the extent to how we sympathize with it is a lot different.
I don't know about that because I'm a complete opposite probably because when you're drowning, like you said before, we were talking about hope and shit like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you burn to death, it's just beginning and end. There was there was a bit of a struggle, but you just die and you burn and you burn to crisp. Whereas drowning is just shit. Man, there must have been assuming we're in the ocean or something like that. He was lonely or she was lonely, and then all of a sudden they would drown, and then we couldn't find their body for a few days, and it would disappear. And then when it does finally resurface, it's kind of more sad. Don't you think? Because there's that element of hope that because it's about kind of the MH370 shit. They probably disappeared or go in the triangle or they're dead. They probably all drowned to death, let's be honest. So
you said they've gone into the triangle?
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, the Bermuda.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever happened on that island where Lost was or some shit, but most likely they drowned. So and they've never found it. So I think the fact of for me personally, I don't give a shit if I disappear or if they find my body. But if someone I know drowned, if you not know how or to find out they've kind of you can't find a body. There's no there's no peace. You can't. There's no end to the chapter, and I guess that's what a lot of the MH370 people are going through because they just stopped the search recently.
They just stopped.
Did they officially stop it?
They officially stopped, and they were just sorry, I can't find it.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't say that like that, but don't quote me.
Yeah.
It's along those lines.
Yeah, it's along those lines. Yeah, pretty much we can't find anything, and that's sad because it's not. Like if they all found out they died and crashed in a burning fireball or whatever, I'm pretty sure the families would have moved on by now.
Yeah, there's peace. There's peace. Yeah.
Yeah, there's closure.
Yeah.
Like what's the other one that got blown up by the Russian missiles?
That was also a Malaysian
Airlines.
Airlines. Yeah, that one.
180 or whatever it is. Yeah. So they of course they were pissed off. They were sad. But now, like after a few weeks or a month or even a year, they kind of a bit of peace because they know how they died and how, you know, whereas MH370, you know, no one knows what happens to the bodies and stuff. And they've, like I said, they're probably drowned or, you know.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like if someone got murdered, like, you know, intentionally murdered, and then, you know, if we found their body by them being burnt or them drowning.
Well, I mean, does it make a difference? Like if it was someone really close to you.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't ever want to see anyone close to me get burnt. I'd rather the other, knock on wood.
So you would rather they had experienced drowning, even whether or not it was intentional or not, doesn't matter?
Because when you think of burning, it's just like, fuck.
If it was intentional, yes. If someone literally was like to murder someone by putting their head under water, suffocating or whatever, I'd rather that than someone getting lit alive. But we're talking about like a natural freak accident, like a house fire or a plane crash into the ocean. I'd rather the drowning, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So intent actually does play like a pretty big factor.
Because it is like those ones are natural disasters, as you say. Whereas if someone murders, there's intent of malice that they want to do harm. So it's that kind of sickening feeling. They're like, fuck, like
you're
my friend or my family or my whatever, you know, went through that kind of shit with that fucking psychopath or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly how I feel about it. Yeah, no, I would agree with that one as well. Yeah. Because if the, you know, natural disaster, well, you know, MH370 wasn't really a natural disaster, but if a disaster like that actually did happen.
Aliens, it's a natural disaster.
That's a topic for another day. But yeah, I think if something like that were to happen, you would still hold on to that hope, because I think you trick your mind into, you know, always having hope that they're going to be found, because your mind can play a lot of tricks on you. And when something like that happens, if you care about someone enough, then you're always going to be like, no, you know, there's still hope. Like once you kind of give up hope, it almost feels like you're giving up on them, and you never want to give up on them, if that makes sense. So like your mind will play tricks.
Are we still talking about MH370? Or?
Yeah, like if you know, if someone were to drown from like a plane crash or whatever, and you couldn't find their body, then you're always going to have that hope, because once you give up that hope, it's like you're giving up.
Yeah, it's because of like fucking movies like what's that one that's like Wilson, one of Tom Hanks, the volleyball,
Castaway,
yeah, shit like that. Like movies like that, shows like Lost, they always give you that hope, like, man, they actually can survive. Yeah. There's never a movie where guys like burn, it's like, yeah, he'll make it. Like,
and he comes
the only one that happens is freaking Daenerys, and that's because she's Targaryen.
Or if it's going to be like something like some Marvel X-Men or something like that, and he comes back like fucking evil as shit, and it's just like, you burnt me, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, but those are like really unrealistic. Like,
I don't know, man. X-Men's pretty realistic.
But then like, where like, you know, kind of something like Castaway, you can be like, I can see it happening.
Yeah.
So like, you're right. So the element of hope
plays a massive part in it as well.
Yeah. So it's definitely the context on how they did it, and then like the intent or whatever, and that kind of sums up like what personally for me, like which I think is worse. So obviously, if it's a murderer that's like killing people, I'd rather them drown, because like, you know, the intent of burning someone alive, that's fucking sick. Like not like fully sick as in like it's fucking that's fully sick. That's
a no-go zone, not like a dude, that's awesome. We can go to the gym after.
Situation. Whereas it's if it was a natural kind of accident or something, like a house fire or a plane crash, or like they were surfing and they got hit by a wave, I'd rather them drown. Yeah. And if they, and then, you know, if we can't find their body again, then I guess it sucks.
You'd rather live with that hope?
Yeah, rather live that hope. I think it's a bit of
I feel like that's
a bit naive in the sense that you just kind of like holding on to something that probably doesn't exist.
But you have to, because like if you don't, like as I said, it would feel like you're giving up on someone, and once you do that, you're just like, am I a horrible person for giving up on them? Because, you know, you always think, what happens if they come back alive? And then it's just like, oh, you stopped looking for me after 2 years when I was living on some little island and I had to kill animals to eat. I don't know what people do when they're...
Do you find that actually between burning and drowning, like if someone was to burn to death, like say if a murderer burnt one of your friends to death.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, and then say on the other hand, he also drowned one of your friends.
Yeah.
Right? Would you be more angry at the fact that they got burnt, or more angry at the fact they got
Who drowned them? Me or the
murderer? So
no, if they
two
burnt
separate. It's not like he killed two of your friends. Just saying, like, if you killed one of your friends by drowning, or if you killed one of burnt, would you be?
I'll be more pissed off at the burning.
Yeah,
really?
Because I'm just like, that's malicious as
emotional.
fuck.
Like,
because you're just like, you know, you already have the audacity to try to kill them. Now you're just trying to get them a slow, painful death. Like, how fucking dare you? And it would probably just like, it would just make you such a.
I'm like completely opposite in that regard, hey, because the way I see it is, if you light someone on fire, once you've lit someone on fire, like that's out of your hands. Like you are no longer in control of that situation, right? Like that's it. So if I lit someone on fire, that's it. What happens after that, I don't control that. Whereas if I were to drown someone, and you did that, you're in complete control of that. I feel like in terms of intent, that's a lot more fucked up, right? Because you have to like force them to drown, right? Yeah. So the way I'm imagining it, right, is if you forced someone's head underwater and you kept it there.
Yeah.
That's you. That's a direct result of you keeping them under the water, right? So you're directly responsible. So that element there is like a next level of just that's sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
For me, that's like really.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? If you burn someone alive, so you say you like get petrol and you're really fucked up in the head, you throw it at someone, you're like light a match, hey. It's already reasonably foreseeable that they're going to burn to death. So you can't say that's indirect. Like, oh, I'm going to let nature take its course. No, that was you fucking with nature, and that's why it's taking its course. So you're still directly.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't just be like, it's like pushing someone to a house fire and be like, that wasn't me, that was nature.
Nature doesn't rain 98 octane.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to buy it for the service station for $1.50 a fucking litre, man.
Yeah, if it's reasonably foreseeable, it's like the law. If it's reasonably foreseeable, even if it's not within like, you know, your full intention, you're still going to get done for the same thing. I'm pretty sure that's the way like karma? I don't know, but like that should be the way karma works.
Karma Sutra? Is that what you mean? Yeah,
but I feel like it's more. It's like an element of enjoyment, right? So,
who enjoys?
No. An element of enjoyment in terms of like if you have a murderer that had like the MO was to drown someone, it's because they really enjoy it. They like to
watch the suffering.
They like to watch that slow like release of
life.
So like, so like they have that enjoyment of being able to control someone's life, like God in a sense.
Yeah. Whereas with fire, it's more like chaos. It's just like.
Now you say I know what you mean. What you said before, like how they've got the control, whereas like fire is literally just 1-2, whereas drowning is just like a slow, like they have actually have in their hands the control of life and death. Whereas if you light someone on fire, it's like the outcome is definitely death.
Yeah.
Especially if you douse them in petrol. Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, because like you're the direct, like you have the like that.
Because essentially you're playing God.
Yeah, because you could swerve them and you can take their head back up and be like, "No, I'm joking. I'm not going to kill you." And then, whoosh.
Yeah, it's the element of hope. Except like in this situation, if you were the murderer, you control that element of hope, right? Because at any point in time, if you're the person being drowned, you have to rely on this person whether or not they will show you mercy. Whereas, like if you're being burned, like there is no hope there.
Yeah,
you eliminate that sense of hope entirely. So I feel like the sense of enjoyment of seeing someone burn isn't quite the same as like seeing someone.
But like think of it this way. No, but I think it depends on.
I think it's the aftermath.
Yeah,
really, because like I understand what you're saying, but from her point, I reckon like would you rather at a funeral see a drowned body which is perfectly still intact and like no like outside scarring or damage, or you'd rather see like a Nando's extra hot chicken that's been like cooked
extra crispy.
You know when you go to Nando's and you order a whole chicken and you see the wing and the wing's all black and
and the end of the drumstick.
I imagine that's what someone would fucking look like.
No, that's how it would look like, right? And I think like if it's like someone that's trying to be malicious and they're like intentionally wanting to kill someone, I actually think that they would like want to watch the people actually burn to death, because that's why when you hear about revenge murders and stuff like that, like, oh, this girl, she stole my husband and stuff, and then they always go and burn them alive and stuff. I think it's that satisfaction of watching their body deform, and
it's not only that. I think it's probably only also the satisfaction of hearing him like scream,
and begging for like help.
Yeah,
because like when you're drowning in water, like this air bubbles, you can't. So yeah. you know. And then I think that's that satisfaction as well. Like, you fucked me over, I kill you. That's
Okay.
the
But you can also drown it by like tying shit to the fucking leg.
But you can't hear it, you can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where's the satisfaction in that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary,
That's fucked
actually.
up,
That's
eh?
really scary.
But there's some people who are like that.
I know, like, I always hope, like, I'm like, oh, I try to be nice to everyone because I get really worried, like, maybe one day someone's just going to be like, that Helen girl, she was, like, a bit of a bitch, I might just kill her.
I kind of thought about that once as well, but then
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I really pissed off and like did a lot of shit to a lot of people. And I was like, fuck, it's too late. Come at me, motherfucker.
No, but it's really scary because, like, this actually clicked to me when I was in high school. I went to a proper high school, by the way, just so
What's
no one's judging.
What do you mean proper
No,
high school?
I went to Mount Lawley, so, like, it wasn't like a dodgy one or anything like that, but there was this girl, she was a little bit, like, mentally unstable because she used to try to cut all of our hair while we were sitting down, and she would stick it in her student diary and be like, oh, I'm going to put voodoo on you. And I was like, try me, bitch. And then, like...
She would say that.
Was
She
she
would say that.
Was she of African descent?
No, she wasn't. And then she was just so... And then she used to put everyone's name on a list and be like, oh, this is my hit list, I'm going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And then I always took it as a joke when we were younger, but, you know, there's some really mentally unstable people out there. Like, in 10 years' time, what's to say they're not going to try to track you down and fucking kill you?
So you get this, like, this is completely off topic, but kind of on topic what
Yeah.
you said. I read this article the other day, and there was this dude who was playing like COD, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, right, on the computer, and he played this other guy, and they started talking complete shit to each other, and like, bro, like, you suck my dick, like, fuck your mum, like, kind of shit like that. Yeah. And this guy was like, I'll fucking track you down, fucking like stab you to death. And the guy's like, ah, yeah, fuck me. He's like, suck my dick, like, whatever. So anyway, like a year later, this guy managed to track down his IP address or some shit, rocks up to his house and fucking stabs him to death, like, in his front door. It's just like, what the fuck?
1 year later.
Yeah,
That's
1 year later.
fucking crazy. Yeah, and then that's why I think it's so important to be nice to people. Like, I would never say a mean comment about someone.
But I feel like that's the wrong reason to be nice to someone, isn't it? Like the
Oh,
fear,
no, but
the fear of retribution. Like,
No,
I should be
it's not
nice just in
that.
case they
I
turn
think,
on me.
No.
at any point
As
in
I
time.
grew a little bit older as well, I started realizing that, you know, just a simple compliment like, hey, I really like your dress, or I really like your shoes, it's going to make someone stay. So it's just like one simple thing, it's just going to make someone stay. So why not? I'm like all about the zen. I'm all about being nice now. So.
Yeah, fuck that. Like, if they're shit cunts, they're shit cunts. Like,
No, but the thing is, if they're like shit Kents, I don't want to say that C word, but if they're like really bad people, I literally just ignore them. I just pretend they don't exist. So my sister has actually seen me do this, where she will say hi to someone and I'll just turn my head because I'm just like, no, you don't exist in my world. Like, because I'm just like, instead of, you know, having a bitch about it later and being like, oh, she's such a bitch, I fucking hate her. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, why she was there? Like, that's incredible. I didn't even see her. How funny.
but it's always the ones that are quiet and like.
Always that one person in every school that's like that, right? You didn't have someone like that in your school?
You went to a all-boys school,
yeah.
though.
There's this one guy that every time we did cross country, and he would just wear winter uniform all year round, so like blazer and long pants and shit.
Was he
like
fat or anything?
Yeah, he was a bit fat.
Oh, okay.
And hell shit haircut.
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
not nice.
He's like,
Shit, like, why did you have to bring that to the equation?
just to make sure everyone knows, like, can envision, like, cause I didn't want to justify what I did. And like, his name was, I can't remember his name.
We'll
But
just call him like John.
Ashley or some shit.
Yeah,
whatever.
just a random name.
And he was like a few years younger than us, and everyone just used to pick on him because he was known as a winter uniform kid. And then
The what?
the winter uniform kid.
Yeah.
So we were running cross country and shit, and he'd be like always at the back of the pack, and he'd be like trying to run and shit, and then we like run quick and then kind of loop around like a fucking velociraptor pack or some shit. So me and a group of friends, and we get a stick, and I'd hit him with it, or like stick in between his legs so he trips over and shit.
Oh,
So I'm
no.
feeling like if he ever found out who I really like, I think he knows what my name is, but like if there was one person that fucking killed me, it would probably be him. And probably a list of like 50 other people.
Oh, that's not good.
So that's the worst thing you've ever done to someone, poke them with a stick.
Yeah, I poked him with a stick, hit him with a stick, and then when he was running, I stuck the stick in between his legs, so he like fell over.
Oh, no.
I've done heaps of other worse shit before. Like, I've like going back to the drowning and burning topic. I nearly drowned one of my friends, not the one who tried to save me, but we were filming like a thing for year 10 media, and one of my friends, Toby. You might know him. Like, he was like, all right, we're going to film this torture drowning scene, and then like, you know, all we want is put his head underwater, and if he taps, like, let him up. I was like, yeah, no problem. I
thought they trusted you.
No, put his head in the water. I don't know why I found it so funny back then. Put his head in the water, and he was just like, kept tapping, and I just didn't let him out. I was like, and then like 20 seconds later, I was like, I was like, what the fuck? You like fucking killed me. And I was like, oh really? Shit, my bad. Yeah, I've got issues. I'm all good now, though.
Yeah, no, like
I'm cured.
yeah, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever done anything to that extent. I think the worst thing I've ever done to someone is maybe like call them a mean name.
Like what? Hey, you're a real shit person.
Hey, yeah, no, that was
You are not nice.
Yeah,
You are
no, like, I actually think that could be the worst thing I've ever done. Oh no! Wait, when I was in high school, I was a bit of a like I was one of those people. I must have listened too much Eminem or something like that, right?
Too much Eminem.
I just thought I was like the toughest person in the world, and I remember this girl. She was being a little bit of like a bitch to me. I can't remember why. And I just got my packet of chips and just went up to her and just poured it over her head. And then she was not pleased.
That's bullying. That's
not bullying.
Right
that's
there.
self-defense.
Oh, this reminds me of another story, actually.
Oh, man.
Completely once again off topic. But there's this guy in our year at school called Scott. And Scotty, like, he was a bit of a bitch, the best I could say. Like, you could tell him to do something and he would do it because he wanted to be part of the group.
Okay, sure.
So there's one day he had a banana and I had no recess, right? And I was like, Scotty, give me your banana. And he was like, oh no, I'm not giving you a banana. So I was like, what the fuck? Defiance? Like, what is this? I was like, Scotty, give me your fucking banana. And he's like, no, I'm not giving you a banana. So mind you, this guy was at the time bigger than me. He still is bigger than me. And he's like one of those white kids who hit puberty really early.
Yeah.
So by year 10, he already had like full chest of hair, back hair, like fucking beard and everything. So it was like a rainy day. And I was like, fuck you, Scott, I'm taking that banana. And then he's like, no, I'm not giving you a fucking banana. So when he looked the other way, I grabbed his hand, skin on and everything, bit the fucking banana, spat it out in his face, like, fuck your banana. and this whole time, I was like laughing my ass off. And he chased me down up the stairs to the towel bit, and it was like raining, obviously. So it was slippery. I slipped, fell over, and he just came and started punching the shit out of me. But my snot was coming out, and I was like laughing so hard, and he was like beating his shit out of me. I was like, fuck your banana, Scott. Fuck your banana, Scott. But yeah, totally off topic, but that just reminded me of like a story from. So anyway, what are we talking about?
Yeah, burning to death and drowning alive. Man, like, I think if one of us were to get targeted, no offense, it's going to be you.
I hope they drown me. So if anyone wants to kill me, like, drown me instead of burning me.
I actually have a really irrational fear of sharks in water. So in that situation of drowning or fire, the location is actually a really important factor for me.
Yeah.
Because I would be infinitely more afraid to be drowned in an
Shark
ocean.
infested.
Yeah, if there are sharks or if there's the possibility of sharks.
But wouldn't that tie back in the whole thing of hope? Because if you're drowning, you shouldn't worry anyway because you're going to die.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that you have hope. You're like, oh shit, like, I'm drowning, but I can live, but also fuck, there's sharks.
So like, my chances
No, it's not about hope. It's about the pain. Like, I have like a really weird thing about pain when dying. Like, I want to have the least painful death ever, like the most painless death.
But wouldn't that mean
being
that
bit
like,
by a shark would be like, I reckon that is going to be more painful than being burnt alive. I think it would be like that's a weird kind of death, right? That's like a combo, right? If you're drowning and then you get bit by a shark and your flesh is ripped from your body,
you know what?
And you're drowning.
I still think that, because like if you think of a shark bite, it's a mortal wound. Right, it's like a gunshot to the head, or you hope it's more like if it's a big enough shot, it'll take like a chunk out of your stomach or your leg where your major arteries are.
But it's not an instant death though. It's not a merciful death.
Yeah, you bleed to death.
Yeah, you bleed. That's a bleed to death.
You bleed to death through that.
But when you bleed, would you get shocked and bleed? Like
you would. Like the thing about shock is that I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that once your body goes in shock, you don't actually feel, because you don't realize what's happening because your body's in so much shock. That's why when people like they get hit by cars and stuff, they don't feel it because they're in such shock that they
because
can't.
Maybe they're dead.
No, or maybe this is Grey's Anatomy. Fuck, I don't know. Oh, I hope it's not Grey's Anatomy.
Is this where all your medical like information's coming, all your psychoanalysis? Like,
a lot of it does come from Grey's Anatomy. I'm not gonna lie, like. I refer to that show for everything. Like last week we were at a wedding and one of my friends had a splinter and I was like, fuck, I've seen this in Grey's Anatomy. Let me just take it out. And everyone's just like, you really like Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so like I'm pretty sure when you have shock, like your body's in so much shock that you don't feel the pain to the extent that if you're, fully conscious, you would. If that makes sense. Like you're fully aware of it, of the situation.
I know, because like I see it as with a shark bites you in a certain area and you probably could die instantly, whereas when you're burning, you're still slowly burning to death.
Wait, do you ever go into shock if your whole body's on fire? Can you go into shock in that situation?
I don't know.
What constitutes a shock? Like what
when your body actually goes into physical shock mode. So when you're in shock mode, like you just...
Yeah, so what's the attributes of the physical attributes of shock?
I haven't seen that episode of
Because like that monk that burnt to death, he just stood still the whole time.
Yeah.
Because like my imagination would lead me to think that shock, you would panic. Panic is like when you shock, you're like, oh shit, like, you know, your body jumps and you just like don't know what to do. But that monk still, like, when I saw that video, he was relatively calm. What's shock, like, you know?
No, because like with shock, right?
Like, is shock like a thing for everyone, or can you actually control?
No, you can't. You
shock
can't. That's
yeah.
what makes a shock. You can't control it, right? I'm pretty sure it just constitutes when you're obviously when your body goes into shock mode and you can't think properly. You can't really do anything for yourself just because your body doesn't know how to react to the situation, and that's why it's shock. Don't quote me on that. I haven't done human biology in like 9 years.
I like to think that you can have like a mind over matter situation where like
No,
if
I
you feel
think
like your
that
body
is-
is going to
do you
shock,
know-
you can control it and be like,
Yeah, no, but you know what?
No shock here.
Yeah, but you know what? That's really funny you make mention of shock, because wouldn't it be interesting if, like, you know, burns aren't actually that painful? It's just the fact that maybe our body just goes into some type of mode where it actually thinks it's painful, and that's why some people, their tolerance is so much different to ours.
I'm pretty sure it's painful because you look at it, it looks like fucked.
Yeah, but that's because people are yelling. Like, what happened to someone?
No,
who's
take
like-
out the sound, take out anything. If you burn something and you look it up, like if I took a torch right now and like flesh my skin and I was still like talking like, you know what, I'm good all day, but my skin was turned into like charcoal and it's cooking and it's bleeding and it's blistering. I'm pretty sure that still looks fucking painful. I'm pretty sure that is painful.
Wait.
Oh,
Like, what about like?
kinda.
Wait, what about the people that then you say like in cultures like where you can develop
A tolerance
a
to
tolerance to heat? Like, do you feel like that tolerance can carry over to the extent that
Not to the extent of like actual burning, like, you know, burning's like,
But wouldn't the pain of the burning past the tolerance just be like a lesser feeling of what we would feel?
it. Yeah, and then maybe like, and then
maybe.
Yeah, and then with the burning, right, maybe it's not the pain that actually gets to them at all. Maybe they pass away because, you know, obviously your skin's a big component.
No, yeah, actually, I'm going to check out. Maybe it's like, you know, when you're a kid, or even when now, like, say you're doing something and then, like, you get a massive cut and you don't realize, and you're still fine, but then when you look at it...
Yeah, you
but
don't realize until,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when I get needles and shit, I can actually look at myself getting
Yeah.
needles because it hurts more if I freak out. Like,
Yeah.
You know, maybe like when you burn yourself and stuff, like, when looking at it,
How would you know people look at it though?
oh, because you'd smell, I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean, right? And then maybe
In a
that's
perfect
why.
world, you could hear, listen, whatever, your sense
Yeah,
of
if you
fuck.
had no senses.
Yeah.
Except
and
for
then-
the sense of feel, like,
Yeah.
would it still hurt? I believe it'll hit the point where you're just like, fuck, like, what's
Yeah.
this on my arm? But then, like,
But it would be a lot more delayed, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
delayed,
Yeah, I believe that actually.
Yeah.
If you got rid of all the senses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's cultures who, like, are, like, not resistant, but, like, less.
The
Like,
monks
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Some like fucking voodoo shit, eh? I think it's with both instances. Like if you were to like practice your heat resistance or something, where it goes past a certain point, it's death. Same as drowning. Like
Yeah.
you can practice drowning every day, but once you drown, you're dead. You know, so it's like I think it doesn't matter how resistant or something you are to either of the elements, you're still fucked. Like
Yeah, well,
you know.
you die at the end of the
You
day,
die at the
so
end
you
of the day.
definitely like that's never a good.
But maybe like so like bringing it back to the like play of where it actually the context on how you're drowning, context on how you're burning. If you're a bit more resistant than the normal person to fire in a burning house, then maybe you have a bit more chance of surviving because you're used to dealing
Yeah.
with heat, and you're not going to go in that shock and that panic because you're like, I've been here before. Like I can. That's probably why firefighters, they're usually quite calm in doing
Yeah,
what they do.
because they
you
know like they can.
not
somewhat
because they're
control
covered
it.
in like fucking up. Like,
Yeah, but
protective gear, yeah.
but I think it's also because like compared to someone like ourselves, we didn't have the right training, and like they in their minds they have some like they have a bit more control.
Yeah.
in
It's
some
like
sense.
I think it's all about control. At the end.
Yeah, it's all about control. Us humans, we like control.
Yeah, it's like my friend who tried to save me when I was drowning. Like, he thought he could train to knew what to do.
Yeah.
But I fucked him up in the end anyway. Because I panicked and I made him panic and we were both drowning. But the guy who saved us, he was calm and he was in control.
Yeah.
And I think that's a major factor in like control. That now you bring it up, it's like when you're burning to death in fire, you have no control over that. But if you're drowning, there's always control, which leads to hope.
Yeah.
So it all kind of like
Yeah, it comes
Yeah.
back in a circle, yeah.
I think it's not hope that's the thing, it's the element of control.
Yeah.
If you have control over a situation, you believe that you can control the situation, you know?
Yeah.
Like with drowning, if you believe you can survive the onslaught of like water coming into your lungs, you believe you can survive because you can control how you survive. Whereas if you're dousing petrol and lit on fire, there's no control. The control is completely taken away from you, you know? But then again, the same thing applies if you were actually being drowned to death as well. Like if someone's physically pushing you, you feel like you have no control in that situation.
I think that's...
Actually, what's the shorter period? Would you drown quicker or would you...
I reckon you'll drown quicker because your body can't survive without oxygen for like, you know...
Unless you have like a really big lung capacity.
Yeah, I don't, so... so like, you know, maximum will be like 4 minutes. But you know what, even shorter than that. Like, I'm estimating because I've never tried to practice drowning myself,
Sure,
right?
yep.
And then I think with fire, like, you just don't know because you have to, one, wait for yourself to either suffocate, but that's not always going to happen. Or two, you just have to wait for it to damage your whole entire skin so oxygen and stuff can't get to your body and your body can't function properly. That's why it's more scary because you don't know how long burning.
So the
death
reason
is gonna
that
be.
when you burn to death is not because of the pain, is because there's a lack of
I think
oxygen.
I think it's a bit of both. I think there's a lot of elements to it.
I think it comes down to all the actual sense of being covered in something.
Yeah.
So water, like, you know, like I said from the start, it's like water has never been viewed as something bad. We shower, we're very exposed to water.
Yeah.
We're not very exposed to fire, except for like certain situations. And the situations are usually has a connotation of being something very negative, something of pain, something that destroys shit. So when you're water, you're kind of more calm, whereas you do think that you will somehow live, even though it's very unlikely.
It's more comforting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, the fact that it's fire, it's
a
not,
no-go.
yeah, even though it's kind of like both situations, both elements are covering your body, but the fact that it's fire is just like, well, I'm fucked. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, that's just it. And I think that's like it. Like you said it perfectly. With it's more comforting drowning.
Yeah.
It seems like there's like a more element of respect for fire than there is for water. Like you have to respect the power of fire.
It's like a respect and a fear. I believe.
It's a respect and a fear. More so fear.
Yeah.
Because in anything, like, you know, going back in history, going to movies, going to popular culture, artwork, fire has always been represented as something that destroys, not something that gives life. And water is something that always gives life. Whereas, like, in scientific fact, it's like both elements are as opposing to each other.
Yeah.
Like, floods happen, they drown people, they kill people, destroy towns, like livestock and shit. But then fire also can give life when you burn stuff away, like new stuff. It allows new stuff to grow. It develops like, I don't know.
But if someone burns you, there's no life coming out.
Yeah, there's no life coming out. Like, I'm not going to fucking Phoenix, you know. Then a new me comes out. I'm not Daenerys Targaryen, you know.
So what was the final consensus?
Final consensus
if it was to you,
I would rather drown, maybe.
Right, drown, yeah.
Okay.
It's just less, like, it's just less time.
But if it was to someone else,
Remember, it depends on whether or not
Intent
it's an
and context.
accidental or whether or not it's intentional.
yeah, sure. So if it's intentional, then
That would,
Drown.
drown. Yeah,
Accidental
Bird.
bird.
yeah.
all right, okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
cool.
that's best.
All right, so thanks a lot for coming in today, guys. Next week will be another question with a new panel. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I think I'm going to be uploading all of our past episodes and this episode on YouTube. So that will be available soon as well. And you can get your episodes from iTunes or wherever else you get podcasts. So thank you very much, guys.
No problem.
No problems. Thanks, guys.